Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King, and welcome to our Christmas show 2024. I can't believe it, but this is our fourth season of doing Christmas, our Christmas show, and we are so happy to be with you guys tonight. Thank you for joining us. I hope everyone is doing well. I try to come on and try to give you guys some positive news if I could. And I thought I was going to come on tonight and give you some bad news. But right before coming on, the House passes a bill to avoid a government shutdown, sending it to the Senate hours before the deadline. The Republican-controlled House has passed a short-term bill to avert a government shutdown, again, in only hours ahead of a deadline that would force U.S. troops, border control agents, air traffic controllers, and millions of federal workers to work without pay during the holidays. I was just so happy to hear that. I literally have been on pins and needles because it's a holiday and people have already made their plans. They have spent their money. And I'm not even going to mention the person's name, but this person who's not even in office yet comes on and just wreaks havoc through the GOP. And they had to, go back into chamber and really sit down and talk about passing this deadline. Passing this budget so that we could keep our jobs. But in the whole spirit of Christmas, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to our show. Christmas is 5 days away. And I want to ask you, first of all, are you in the spirit? I definitely am in the spirit. I thought this year, I thought it was going to be, a little lull because we kind of jumped back in last year. Last year was like off the chart. But I am just excited about Christmas this year as I was last year. And the question keeps coming up for me. Are you ready for Christmas? People are asking me that, and of course we just say yeah or no or whatever. But when you're asked that question, I realize that people are referring to buying and wrapping presents and sending Christmas cards and planning activities, cooking food, etc. But so that you all know, Christmas, it really means for us to be ready. What it means for us to be ready for Christmas is to have hearts prepared for Jesus's birth. And for those of you who are non-believers, I understand, and this might not be important to you, but for me, that is the true significance of Christmas and celebrating the birth of Christ. And all the other stuff, it seems to carry a lot of weight, have you spending money, and it just crosses all these lines of, emotions, which brings me to our show tonight. Bobby and I decided tonight that we would have a discussion with you because we are just like you. We go through the same things that you go through. We thought that we would have a discussion about how people can navigate their emotions during the holidays. And we've selected 5 topics that I know impact each and every one of you on any given holiday. But tonight we're going to talk about it because we feel like, these topics connect deeply with a wide audience and it opens a space for empathy, understanding, and practical advice. So I'm glad that you all are here tonight because this is our Christmas show and Bobby and I get a chance to spend it with you. Hey, Monica. Hey, Sean. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Happy holidays to you. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, if you all are ready, I got to get my co-host in here. Let's get on with the chat. Hey, man in red.
Hey, how are you? Red is our color of choice this time. So yeah.
Red is our color. Happy holidays again, Bobby.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you, Alvin.
Thank you. You have a good week?
I'm better. It's the beginning of my break from school. And it started this afternoon, so I'm getting there. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Michelle Sims. Happy holidays to you too. Yes, it is my favorite time of year. She says Christmas translated means more Christ. Come on now.
Absolutely.
And I am so blessed to be here. I tell you, And Bobby, I'm so glad that we decided to structure the show this way because
Yeah.
what you all don't know, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes we have production meetings, and sometimes the production meetings we should tape them because we should just play those and have the show. But
It could
we
be
get,
the he said outtakes.
but we be saying some stuff that you don't want to take out, that we know we got to take
I was
out.
going to say we couldn't actually show everything or share everything that we talk about, but that's brother to brother conversation that we have there. So
Yeah, but it definitely
kind of like a
way.
picture I sent your way today.
You all, I'm telling you, I'm not talking to Sean. How you doing, Sean? And we got two Seans. I'm talking about Sean in DC, and then we got Sean in Ohio.
Sean Square.
Welcome to the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So, we want to get on, and please feel free to, interject because, again, as I said in the introduction, what Bobby and I are talking about, if it affects us,
Absolutely,
it definitely affects you. So, one of the first topic that we want to talk about tonight is managing the stress and expectations of the holidays. And we thought that, because of stress, the pressures of gift giving, family obligations, social events, while prioritizing your well-being, all of that brings on a great amount of stress. And it also causes you to, to not set boundaries when you really should, because you're managing expectations. And the points that we're going to talk about today regarding this, we hope that these points can help, all of you approach the holiday with a healthier mindset and reduce stress while fostering joy and connection. So,
absolutely.
So the first point, Bobby, is, setting realistic expectations for the holidays. How often do you not do that?
It's hard not to do it because there's all this pressure of showing up in certain ways, and people will make you believe that it's what you bring that counts most. So the stress is there.
Yeah, and I think that simple traditions and prioritizing, is what really matters right now. Because I shared something with Bobby, and I'm gonna share it with you guys. I had a pretty tumultuous childhood. And so I don't remember anything about Christmas until age 10, because I just don't. I don't remember anything. So my dealing with Christmas or the holidays, it kind of goes in and out. And so in terms of setting expectations and whatnot, realistic expectations, that's very true for me right now, for anybody who knows me. So you got to set realistic expectations so that you can maneuver through the holidays, I feel.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In addition to that, some of that very same stress that you were talking about is around the issue of budget, overspending. There are people who sometimes Christmas shop and can spend as much as half or more of the next year actually paying for all the things that they've done. So one of the things we're encouraging people to do is, first of all, create a budget, a realistic budget, and stick to it. Don't focus necessarily on the expense of the gift, but just really figure out what's manageable for you and what's realistic for you. Not what somebody else may want, but what are you capable of doing that will not put you in a financial bind.
Well, and also expand your mind. You know what I'm saying? Do something, create something homemade. I'm one of those people. You send me a Christmas card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm that guy who likes to receive Christmas cards and also who likes to send Christmas cards. It's the thoughtful gestures that mean the most. The lavish gifts, they're cute, but in this age of social media, they just give people an opportunity to show stuff.
And a lot of us already have, in all honesty, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
But yeah, I agree with you.
And doing that, Kendall, I'm sorry, I'm not ignoring you, my brother. Welcome to the show tonight. Thank you for being here tonight.
Hey, Kendall.
Appreciate you. And one of the things that we often forget while we're managing the stress and expectations is prioritizing our self-care.
Absolutely.
You know,
Totally get lost.
we forget about ourselves. I mean, from losing sleep, some people are so hell bent on, getting to the store to buy gifts and giving gifts to people that you really, if you think about it, you shouldn't give them a gift. So let me say that if you think about it. And in the process, you forget to even eat healthy or exercise, and or just take care of your mind. So, prioritizing self-care is also very important in this area. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm trying to woosah, like not get caught up in the stress that we're talking about right now. But one of the things, obviously, particularly in a very divided society, that can also create stress for us during the holidays are the whole thing, all that around family dynamics, like coming together, bringing together relatives that may not see things quite the same way that you do. Can be really stressful, or if you are single and everybody's asking you, why aren't you married? What's going on? Like that whole family dynamic thing can really be a stress point for people. So one of the things we're encouraging you to do is to express yourself openly with your communication, to be very clear about boundaries and stick to them. Decide certain things that you may not be able to talk about. For the sake of the sanity of the family, we're just not going to talk politics, for instance. We're not going to do it. So whether it's regarding time, the gift exchanges, or those sensitive conversations as things such as politics, you want to set boundaries and you want to be clear about them because it's for the sake of everybody and it makes for a peaceful, hopefully, family gathering in the end. But family dynamics unto themselves can be a little bit of a stressor for people during the holidays.
And Bobby, while you were saying that, I was thinking, the term know your audience. And whenever you go into a family area where you're dealing with, when I'm dealing with my family,
Yeah.
I know who's going to be the loudest. I know who's going to overtalk everybody. I know who's going to push you out the line to get food when I know who's going to, be, upset because the prayer goes on too long. You know what I'm saying? So,
and who's going to make a comment about somebody's cooking.
Exactly. So you have to go into, a good thing to do is knowing your audience as you set your boundaries for stepping into that, that type of area or environment. Charles Reese, welcome to the show tonight.
Hey, Charles.
And congratulations on your win. My brother, I'm coming back at you because we need to have you on the show. Okay, so congratulations on your win. Merry Christmas to Zach Bell. Is Zach Bell new to the show?
Guys from Lewis and Zach here in Roatan. Oh my goodness! Oh well, hello there.
Welcome to the show tonight. Welcome. And since I think you're just tuning in. This is our Christmas show, and we thought that we would have a conversation with all of you about navigating through the Christmas holidays. And so, thank you for being here tonight. And one of our last points, Bobby, under this whole topic of managing holiday stress and expectation is planning ahead and staying flexible.
Yeah.
I don't even, I'm the king of planning. Okay. So
Alvin King is the king of planning.
I am the king of planning. But what comes with that, sometimes I'm not as flexible with things as I should, because time is very important to me. So time, if you're not on time,
yes,
it could throw me off, and I should be a little bit more flexible with that, but I'm not. But yes, stress often comes up in that process, and it causes you to scramble, trying to get things together. The next thing you know, your food is wrong. You didn't put the eggs in something and all of that kind of stuff. So you got to plan ahead, ladies and gentlemen. That is very important. Yes. Yeah.
All right. So that's our first point, dealing with the stress of the holidays. Now, the second one we want to talk about is very real for a lot of people also. And that's everyone is expected to be surrounded with family and friends and happiness and all that. But for some of us, there is loneliness associated with the holidays. And so we want to talk about the reality that not everyone has a family or a strong social circle. So there are other ways through community events and volunteering or just reaching out to friends that can also include suggestions for self-care and embracing self-solitude and positivity. Loneliness can be a very, very real situation for many during the holidays. So in talking about the points that Alvin and I are going to cover for you, we know that these can empower us to embrace the holidays with creativity, with kindness towards ourselves, and a focus on connecting in meaningful ways. Connecting here. So that's really, dealing with loneliness. And, just as you said, Alvin, not everyone has the fondest of memories around the holidays. And so that's a real issue for people. So that loneliness. So connecting in new ways, that's one of the things we talked about. So reach out to your friends, your neighbors, extended family, other people, and I'm speaking from my own experience as well, having lost all the members of my immediate family. One of the things that I'm completely blessed beyond measure is with a good village and a really wonderful circle of friends. And so the connections that we make to one another are very meaningful in that way. So whether it's family gatherings, phone calls, online holiday events, if there's a positive thing that came out of that pandemic, it's our capacity and our ability to connect with one another, even virtually. Sometimes it's really, really important. And all of these things can really provide a sense of belonging at a time when sometimes people feel completely surrounded and yet still feel very, very lonely as well.
Very lonely. That is so true. First of all, let me say hello to Mark Brown. The Browns are on here.
Hey, Brown. Hey.
The Browns are very good friends of mine. Hey, brother Mark. And I know Stephanie is nearby. How you doing? And Glenn, thank you for joining us tonight. And I appreciate you saying that, you are enjoying the conversation that we're having. One of the things that's really big for me, in this as part of this topic for dealing with loneliness, is creating your own tradition. You have to remind people that the holidays are an opportunity to celebrate in their own way.
Yep.
And encourage them to create personal traditions, such as cooking a favorite meal, decorating their space, which I have been very good at helping someone do this year, which I'm very proud of doing, or engaging in activities that they love, like watching movies and crafting. In other words, don't be so selfish.
Are you crafting?
I'm saying, I'm just saying, don't be selfish while creating traditions, because you have to get outside of who your boundaries in order for that to happen. Yep. So, and one of the last things I'm going to say, finding joy in solo activities can make the season feel special as well. All right, going out and buying that ticket to see that concert, that one ticket when you don't have to worry about whether or not somebody should go, or if they have the money, but you want to go, just go, and just go and do it. Believe me, you will be glad you did.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about self-reflection and being graceful to yourself, compassion for yourself. It's really important sometimes, again, and I don't want to just keep harping on the loneliness issue, but I know that it's very real for people. And I want to encourage us to really be able to acknowledge our feelings, to give ourselves grace, and to really consider things like mindfulness, journaling, gratitude practices, to reflect on the things that are really positive in our lives. Because sometimes, that whole attitude of gratitude can really make a difference for people during the holidays. So it's an opportunity for self-reflection, for growth, and just a better understanding of who you are. We're better people with others when we have a stronger understanding of who we are ourselves. So that whole notion of being able to utilize that time to self-reflect and to provide some sense of centering through mindfulness and most importantly, focusing on the blessings of your life is also really, really important to do during the holiday season.
Yeah. Thank you. Bobby, so far, look, I know what we're talking about, and I'm moved, ladies and gentlemen. So,
and I'm appreciating the comments. People are appreciating us kind of having this conversation with themselves.
Yeah, it's very important. And like I said, for those of you who are probably just tuning in, Bobby and I are talking about some real stuff. These are things and emotions that we navigate, as we go through the holidays, and how we have to, as we say, bob and weave, in our world, to make sure that we have some type of stability, in moving through the holidays. And one of the probably most triggering
Mm.
points that we're going to talk about right now is coping with grief and loss during the holidays.
Mm. Mhm.
Um, that is a huge one, because the holiday season is particularly difficult for those grieving your loved ones, and we want to provide guidance on honoring. We would like for you to think about providing guidance on honoring lost family members and finding new traditions and allowing space for both the sadness and the joy. And
Mhm.
so our points that we're going to talk about in this on this topic, we hope that they provide a balance of acknowledging loss while offering ways to find hope and healing during the holiday season. Um, so, I, God, this is pretty emotional for me because I lost my sister last year,
Mhm. Mhm.
and she was my only living sibling, and so that made me the only surviving sibling in my family. And grief is really real over the holidays for me in this area. But one of the things that is very important, we have to acknowledge, our feelings, and we have to give ourselves permission to grieve.
Mhm. Yep.
That is so important because the holidays can amplify feelings of loss, as we know. And it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be nostalgic. But you have to encourage people to honor their emotions instead of suppressing them and remind them that grief doesn't have a timeline.
Mm. Mhm.
And being kind to yourself or to oneself during this time is critical.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, you and I both know this feeling very much so. We both lost our siblings. We've both been in those situations when we've had loss and then gone into that holiday season. So it again, as you were saying at the beginning of the show, this is something that very much feels very real for us as well, and we're certainly not just oblivious to it or immune to some of the things that we're talking about. So one of the other things we want to talk about is ways in which you can incorporate the memory of your loved one into some of those traditions. And it could be everything from telling stories, lighting a candle, creating a memory ornament. I've got some beautiful ornaments given to me over the years with either the names or images of family members that are no longer with me, that are really, really beautiful and mean a lot to me. So I think keeping their memory alive can bring comfort for many people. And for me, I'm one of those people who really likes to speak the name of those that I love that are no longer here. I feel like they really truly died when we stop speaking their name, when we're afraid to bring up stories that make us smile and laugh and remember the good times as well. So incorporating them and their memory in our holiday traditions is something that I think is can be of comfort to many people.
Bobby, before you move, because you said something that's really important, and I would like our viewers, if you can type, I just want you all, as Bobby said, speak someone's name or
Mm,
names that you love, and just send their names in right now. Just speak their name right now.
mm.
As part of a holiday tradition
Yeah,
that we're starting right now. And he said. And we want you to send their name in. It can be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But type someone's name in that you would like to honor who is no longer with us.
yeah,
Thank you.
it's a beautiful thing. Speaking in them, I
Thank
think
you.
that's a great idea, Alvin. I
Thank
love
you. Hey, Dwayne, thank you for being here tonight. Dwayne said, yes, give yourself time to grieve, heal, and stop telling people how long to grieve unless it's turning into a mental
it.
issue.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Good advice.
absolutely.
Good advice. Good advice. Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's important. So we also want to lean on our support systems. Earlier, I spoke to you about how important it is. We've got someone's name we want to speak. Brian
Our sister
Sims.
Michelle, Brian Sims, we
Absolutely.
speak your name.
Absolutely. Leaning onto your support systems, whether that's your friends, family support groups, professional counselors, grief support networks, there are a variety of ways. We want to mention Glenn Baker's Samuel and Jean Baker as well. Thank you we speak their names as well.
Mhm. And Mark Brown says Sadie and Albert Dixon Sr., we speak their names.
We speak their name.
All right, see, I'm loving this. Dwayne Pureheart said, my mother, Mathaline,
Yes.
we speak your name,
We
Mathaline,
speak her
pure heart.
name. Yes. Martha
Kendall,
Fisher.
Martha Fisher, we speak her name. Yes, we do. I'm going to say it. I can't type because I'm working, but I speak Carol King. I speak your name.
Amen. Amen. And I speak the name of my siblings, Kenny Edwards and Yvette Edwards as well. Yes. But again, support systems. Don't be afraid. Don't allow someone to stigmatize reaching out for help and leaning on your support. That's why you choose a wise village. You need people in your life who uplift you, particularly in times when you need that support. So let's not get caught up in the stigma of asking for help, and whether it's professional help, because the professional help is important too, because sometimes your friends can have a lot of empathy and sympathy, but they're not skilled at being able to move you forward. So being able to distinguish reaching out for help and knowing the type of help that you need is also really important.
It is very important. And Bobby, before we speak some of the names that the viewers are putting in here,
Yes.
I know for a fact that you have a strong support system.
Amen.
I know that you have a strong support system. So hearing you say that, I know that it's coming from your heart.
Absolutely. It's gotten me through some very difficult times. And I know you do as well. We've often spoken about the blessing of our village. So
it is very important that we have that you have that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Sean Carter, he mentioned Keith Carter. We speak your name, my brother.
Keith Carter.
Sean Holmes, Mary Holmes, his grandmother passed away just last year. We speak her name.
Mary Holmes, we speak your name. Yes.
And the Browns, Mark Brown and Stephanie Brown, Susie and Eugene Brown Sr. We speak their names tonight.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you. You all are part of a tradition right now.
I love it.
And we're going to do that. So thank you. Also, what is very important under, dealing with grief during the holidays, take the time to redefine holidays in a way that feels right for you. Let me just say, it's okay to adjust or let go of traditions that feel too painful and create new ones that bring comfort. Whether that means traveling, keeping things low key, or just dedicating time to activities that bring joy or meaning. Adapting to the holiday experience can help ease the burden of grief. And I did something very different this year I'm going to say for Thanksgiving that was very hard for me, but I had to do it because it was something that felt right and felt good to me. And I didn't have dinner with my aunts, Minto and Teresa. They're like my family. I didn't, but I wanted to try. Someone invited me to Thanksgiving to meet their family. And I thought that was just so, I thought, you know what? Just the openness of all that. Now it was hard because I had to call my aunts and tell them, you know how they are with me. They was like, we're going to whip your behind. But they made me promise that Christmas I was going to be with them.
Yes.
But I wanted to do that just to break tradition a little bit and try something new. And so I'm glad that I did that. And I encourage all of you to try that, break tradition and stop doing what everybody has told you should do.
Absolutely.
Right. So I'm off my high horse with that one.
Okay. No, it certainly reminds me. I remember after my mom, who passed away, was the last other remaining member of my family, I had never not had Christmas dinner with my mother, ever. I was 50 some odd years old, had never missed a Christmas dinner with her. And so I found myself like, okay, so what am I going to do on Christmas? And many of you know my partner in crime, my sidekick, Michi, who calls in all the time. She and I decided that we would go out to dinner on Christmas Eve. We went to Christmas night. We went to dinner and then we went to a movie afterwards. And it started a new tradition for us about having dinner there. Of the last 4 or 5 years, our tradition is to go up to Philadelphia and hang out with our friend Vita. So starting new traditions is okay. You can define, as you're saying, what that Christmas looks like.
See, and oh, Bobby, can I get a little real and personal for a
Yeah,
minute here
absolutely.
about, when you're dealing with change or doing something that's new, or you want to try something new, the person that you don't want to be around is the person that keeps saying, I've never done this before. That's the person that you don't want to be around, because it almost plants a seed that you don't want to hear. You're trying to do something outside the box, and all this person, or the person that you're trying to do something with, is saying that they don't want to do it, or
Hmm.
not necessarily they don't want to do it. I've never done this before. What
Hmm.
I want to hear is, let's try it.
Yeah. Or this was really good.
Yeah, let's try. What do you have to lose?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But be mindful. There are people who know how to plant seeds that
Hmm.
you need to overlook. And we're gonna move on through grief. But I want to also say our producer Norman Rich, his sister passed away this year, and we want to
Yeah.
say her name,
Absolutely.
Linda Holly.
We
Um,
speak her name, Linda Holly.
we speak her
Absolutely.
name. Okay, a little lighthearted.
Yes. I
Like,
want to go back to the budget.
when you're
I
navigating.
we got to talk a little to go back to the budget, because some of
It's
you know
important.
I've been involved in a house renovation, and so my funds are thin right now. Like I don't have a whole lot of extra cash floating around right now. I'm focusing on pulls on cabinets and tiles on the floor and stuff like that right now.
I don't mean to laugh, but I'm living it through with him, ladies and gentlemen. So
Woo.
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I say that to say that again, it's about a budget. Like the meaningfulness of a gift is not always tied to the cost of the gift. Now, granted, if you send me an Hermes, wallet or something like that, I know that you put some money into that, because they are very expensive and all that. And those things are really nice red bottoms. So those things are really, really nice.
You better not wear no red bottoms out. Let me stop. Go ahead, Bobby. Keep going. And I had a different vision of the red bottoms. I know that they make them for men.
I was
Sorry.
like, they make them for
I'm
men.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
But
sorry.
anyway, we're not talking about the most expensive things. We're talking about things that can come from your heart that can also be very, very meaningful and purposeful. And the whole idea is we're wanting you to explore creativity, connection, thoughtfulness, and helping people celebrate meaningfully without overspending. Again, one of the things we have heard people, yeah, I see Sean is laughing about the red bottoms. I know that's what he's laughing about. All right, Sean, don't feed into him. But it's about, again, knowing that the meaning of the gift is not necessarily tied to the cost of the gift. So there are all kinds of things like baked goods, if you're really into those things. If you can cook, obviously. Look at these delicious looking cookies that are on the screen now. Crafts, personalized photo albums. You guys know Bobby Edwards loves photographs. I take a lot. All my friends know that we take selfies. We have lots of fun. We take lots of. Because what I love is that I can sit down with a photo album and look at images, or go back on, lecture, and just think back to the fun times that we've had.
Memories.
Yeah,
Creating
absolutely.
memories. Yeah.
Absolutely. And one of the things, and Alvin, I know you and I have spoken about this, I guess this was maybe 5-6 years ago. Two of my closest friends, Sundiata and Michi, and I were sitting around before the holidays, and we were sitting around talking and saying, like, you know what? I don't need another mug. I don't need another sweater. I don't need another thing. Right now we're purging, trying to get rid of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What we made a decision to do was to really focus on presence, presence, spending time with one another, versus presence, presents. We don't need presents for one another. We've been friends for 40 some odd years.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to get another t-shirt, anything. But let's do things together. So we go to the Kennedy Center together to see concerts, to see Alvin Ailey. Every year we go to Alvin, see Alvin Ailey again. We do movies together. We grab dinner together. And sometimes we just sit around and hang out and just talk. We spend time. So the expense is not what makes it meaningful. There are so many ways that you can connect with someone and spend very little money, actually. So that's what I want to say. The budget is important. You do not want to overspend just for the sake of the holiday.
Yeah. But I cannot agree with you more, Bobby. And I say that because for any of you that have been to my house, I like to think, and I've been told that I've succeeded. I create an environment when you come through my door that says, welcome.
Moments. You do create.
The moment you walk through my door. And so having people over and just cook it for me to, cook or, put a little spread out, that, and look at a movie or even a game night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is like a gift within itself. You know Absolutely. What I'm saying? You have no idea what might come out of that. So I agree with you. Yeah, wholeheartedly.
Yeah, time with one another. Yeah.
I spoke about cooking, and I gotta say this, ladies and gentlemen, because y'all have been on TikTok and all these other places, these social media sites, but hosting a potluck style gathering, ladies and gentlemen, is not all bad. But going back to knowing your audience, you just got to know when you throw that word potluck gathering out there, you just got to know who you're asking to cook for you.
Who's pot?
But instead of shouldering the entire cost of hosting, a holiday meal, again, you invite friends over, or family to contribute by bringing a dish and drinks. Yep. This not only reduces the expenses, but it also creates a sense of community and variety at the table. Again, we've heard some bad potluck stories, but all potluck stories don't have to be bad.
They don't. You remember that most recent one, though, about that company? That guy bought the food. It was like 40 some odd people were out.
If it wasn't for the fact that somebody might see this show that lives in my neighborhood, I would show you guys. I live in a pretty diverse neighborhood. And about 3 weeks ago, one of my neighbors came with a flyer. I was cleaning my house. I opened the door, total visual, and I didn't have a shirt on. And so I was like, yes, it was a little white girl. And I said,
where are we going with this?
She said she gave me a flyer. She says, I live 3 blocks over and we're having a potluck. And we would like everybody in the neighborhood to just bring a dish. Mm-hmm. Bobby, I looked at her.
Yes.
And with the biggest smile on my face, I said, thank you so much. That is such a great idea. I put that flyer on the table and I just kept walking past it, touching it, saying, Alvin, you're not going. She lives 2 blocks over. I don't know any of those people.
No.
I know half the people on my block, but that's where I was going. But now I wouldn't do that, but I definitely would invite people over to my house for a potluck, to save money. Okay.
What did Rodney say about that? He said, good luck.
Rodney, I promise you, she was the sweetest girl standing in my doorway. But I said, I'm not going to do that.
No.
I said, I'm not going to do it. And I tried to hold on to the flyer so I could show you, but I thought I better get rid of it because I don't want, again, she might see me walking down the street and say, I saw that show and you talked about my potluck, and you didn't even show up. But Bobby also mentioned this earlier in his conversation. The other point is focusing on a free or low cost experience. Mm-hmm. You can celebrate the season with activities that don't cost much, like driving around to see holiday lights, hosting a movie night at home, which we talked about with festive classics, or participating in a local free holiday events, and Bobby said it earlier, creating memories together is often more valuable than any material gift out there.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. Y'all funny. Kendall, Kendall, you know me. So I wasn't going
over there. No.
I wasn't going around that corner.
No.
I wasn't going to do it. But yeah, again, watch your budget, ladies and gentlemen, what celebrating holidays on a budget is very important these days. And for the next 4 years, you might really want to think about it.
You might want to think about that.
You might want to do that.
Before I move to my next point, though, I just want to say when we've spoken about this many times. I've said to Alvin, I've seen too many social media posts where people's animals are up on the stove and people think it's fine that they're walking across the kitchen counter and all that. I'm like, ixnay. Not doing it. Not doing it.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
the other thing we want to talk about is like when we were growing up in the Edwards household, we were blessed abundantly. I will say that. Like the Christmas tree always had a lot of gifts under the tree. We were blessed. Our parents spoiled us around the Christmas time. Now, we were not allowed to be ungrateful spoiled. Like we had to appreciate everything that we got, but our parents were very generous to us in ways that as an adult now, I know was a great sacrifice to them because they didn't make the money that reflected all the boxes that were up under the trees, but they made that sacrifice for us. But what I want to get to is the whole notion, as we talk about being budget conscious, is that it's also not about endless gift giving. Like sometimes you can set a cap on the number of gifts. I know a lot of families now that do like they pick a number and that's the gift that they get for the family when they get together. They're not buying 8 gifts for everybody. They get a number somehow electronically, or they do it somehow online, and they set a number on the top, the number of gifts that they actually get. So whether it's a Secret Santa kind of game or the White Elephant gift exchange, which we just had at my office today, which was really fun. I ended up with a great book and some chocolate and all that, so pass it around. But setting a limit on the number of gifts that you actually buy can also really be cost effective. Offer things like services, and I mean, up and up services, babysitting, cooking a special meal, something of that nature, spending time, cutting somebody's grass who, has difficulty cutting grass. Come up with all kinds of things that can also kind of serve needs as well, and not necessarily have to take a whole lot out of your pocket as well.
Yeah. Very important. Very important. Again, watch, think about budget.
Yeah.
Everything doesn't have to be, doesn't have to break the bank. It really doesn't. And for most of it, you just have to just be creative.
Absolutely.
Take the time, sit down and be creative. So Bobby, we are at our last point here.
Yes.
That we wanted to talk about, which to me, in some way, it would require me to be a little bit more creative than I am. And so, but I thought it was very important for us to talk about.
Yeah.
And that's embracing diverse traditions and creating your own. And what we meant by that was highlight how different cultures and families celebrate Christmas or other holidays during the season, and encourage our viewers to embrace their own unique traditions, try something new, or create personal rituals that bring meaning and joy. I also thought this was important because we're going to need to really do something like this over the next 4 years, because there's going to be a lot of division. There is a lot of division, but embracing other cultures is going to be very important. So the points that we are going to talk about today encourage inclusivity and creativity while empowering individuals and families to make the holiday season uniquely their own. And I'm going to tell you, and you all are going to see some pictures. I am having Christmas dinner with my aunts, and one of the families that are coming are from Russia to the Christmas gathering, because the son is a basketball player. I mean, he's like 7'10", and he and his family goes to school with my cousin.
Okay.
And so they're coming for Thanksgiving. And so embracing their culture while they're embracing ours is such a wonderful thing. And it's such a wonderful thing. So that is definitely going to be happening for me. But one of the points is explore and celebrate the traditions and different cultures. Highlight how other cultures around the world celebrate the holiday season, such as Mexico's Las Posada. Now, I'm a Puerto Vallarta man. So, that's important to me. Sweden, St. Lucia Day, or Germany's Christmas markets. Encourage learning about these traditions through food, music, or storytelling to broaden perspectives and bring fresh inspiration to holiday celebrations. And really, guys, this is really important, because you got to read and do your homework in order to do it. So I thought that was very important.
Absolutely. And as we talk about embracing new traditions and so forth, we also want to encourage you to incorporate your own traditions and beliefs and value systems in the holiday celebrations. If your faith is particularly important to you, how about inviting the whole family, not just you go to the service at church, but inviting the extended family to go, and to go together as a church. If charitable contributions, if philanthropy is something that's important to you, focusing the families, instead of giving gifts to one another, that each one may possibly consider contributing to a charity, going to volunteer together, doing something together in that sense. All of those things are really important. If you're really into sustainability, encouraging family members to recycle, or to really think carefully about the things that they buy and how they dispose of things and so forth. It's those things that are important to you as your family. There are ways that you can incorporate elements of those values and those beliefs into the traditions of your holidays as well. And that also adds to the meaningfulness of it as well.
Well, I'm going to take your advice right now and start a tradition.
Yes.
You see this tree behind me?
Yes.
I'm going to start a tradition to have people come over and help me dismantle this tree. Together. And, I'll get pizza and everything. It is still part of the holiday.
It's beautiful, man. It really is.
And I want you all, I will invite you over. I will, have some drinks. But Bobby, that is a very good idea. You have put it in my head, and I'm going to invite certain folks that I know can handle my delicate bulbs.
I was going to say, and take those are all new, given the water damage that you dealt with. So first of all, you don't want them to get too spirited in terms of that drink before they handle those fragile bulbs.
Drinks afterwards.
After.
But I think I'm going to do that. I think it would be fun, and I can make it fun for everybody.
I'm sure you can. It is a beautiful tree. Now, the other thing is, when we gather together as a family, there are often gatherings that are multi-generational as well. And so one of the things we also want to encourage is the combination, the combining of new traditions and values with the old ones. Let some of the old heads decide what some of the traditions may be during the holidays, but also listen to some of the young ones. The folks that sit over at the card table, that little tiny table that we all got relegated to when we were young. Ask them what they're interested in doing, whether it's allowing them to pick some of the games that you're going to play, the movie that the family watches, who controls the television, contributing a different dish to the, because we all know that there are certain dishes that we don't consider it the holiday unless you eat X. Like if you during the 4th of July, if somebody doesn't have some good potato salad, it is not a good 4th of July. If they had some good baked beans up in there, it's not a good, So we know that certain holidays, there's certain things that we're set on eating. We're encouraging you to also step outside of that comfort zone. Allow somebody to bring something new to the table that you might try. That doesn't mean get rid of the things that you definitely want, but be open and willing to try something different.
And find a welcoming spirit.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes, we have a. Sometimes,
are you suggesting everybody's not welcoming at the table?
No, I'm just saying sometimes you got to work on. It's a combination of things, And this is some of my therapy coming out. You got to work on your tone, your facial expression. You know what I mean? They have to connect. Yes. You can't be embracing to somebody if you got a smirk on your face. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's real talk.
Right.
So I'm just saying, in that whole of
when you try their dish.
see.
Or when the person that eats the meal and they're doing like that.
And the next thing they say,
I taste like. You all know we have somebody in our family. The moment they check that,
who
and the put in this?
Who made this?
Okay,
who made it?
Who did this?
The room clears.
Okay,
right.
Because the next thing they're gonna say, they don't have to bring this next year.
Bobby, you are a fool. I just want you to know that you got me cutting up on this show tonight. One of our last points, ladies and gentlemen, is create unique traditions that speak to your personality, which falls in the area of communication. Okay.
Come on now, preach.
That is so. If you're not a communicator or you got excuses for how to communicate, this point might not be for you. But encourage listeners to think, I want to encourage the listeners to think creatively about what makes the holidays special to them.
Right.
And this would include hosting an annual holiday game night. You host it. Don't be trying to go to somebody else's house to do it or sitting around saying, I'm waiting for them to call me.
Right, right.
Write a letter to loved ones instead of giving gifts.
I love that.
Or even starting a quirky tradition like wearing matching pajamas for a movie night. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I despise that. But it is cute.
Love it.
And guess why I despise it, Bobby?
Why do you despise it, Alvin?
For the same reasons that I've been talking about tonight, because I've never tried it.
So you are not doing what you're encouraging the viewers to do?
I'm real, but I will do it now that I've put myself on blast.
And when you do it, you should not be in the pajamas going like, I've never done this before. I've never done, like, do it and shut up.
Bobby, I'm going to find some pajamas that people can talk about. So,
I know you will.
I'm going to do it. But, no, I just think that it's very important. The one point that I'm driving on this topic or this point right here is to communicate, because people don't know what you need or what you want if you don't open your mouth and tell them. And so often a lot of people just feel like, well, you should know me.
Right.
You've been my friend forever. You're there. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. Did you see what our producer said about you in your pajamas?
I'm not going backstage. I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to talk about him. And please don't pull up a picture. Don't pull up a picture.
Very good one, Norman.
Wait,
but he just said a certain clothing item is not pajamas, Alvin. So just a behind the scene joke here. Okay.
Yeah, very behind the scene, like so behind the scene. But ladies and gentlemen, we have wrapped up our Christmas show, our Christmas show for 2024.
Yeah, how to navigate the holidays.
And I so hope that you all enjoyed that, because it meant a lot. I learned something about myself in the process.
I learned something about you. I learned something about you as well. And I expect to see a picture of you in some matching pajamas with somebody. Because just because you put them on, that doesn't mean they match. I need to see you and somebody else in the same pajamas.
I just want y'all to hear what he just said. He wants to see, first of all, he wants to see me with somebody. Oh, but that's another talk show, ladies and gentlemen. Merry Christmas to all of you. That's another talk. I don't know what he's talking about. But
you just said you got to do some matching pajamas, and all I'm saying is you can't match them if you're the only one in them. That's all I said. It could be you and the aunties. I don't care.
Point taken, Bobby. All right, point taken. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we near, Glenn said, joyous Noel. Thank you, Glenn. Noel. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we got a little bit of time here. Next week, we are doing our 2024 year in review. Yes. And it is no secret that a lot happened. Good, bad, indifferent, exciting, memorable. A lot happened in 2020.
There's a lot of baby oil in 24.
Y'all, for all of y'all who send me notes about how nice Bobby is, see how he is. Right. No, a lot happened in 2024. And so next week, we want you to tune in, because we're gonna talk about some of the things that happened in 2024. This is Kendall. This has been an enjoyable and knowledgeable episode. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kendall, for taking your time to join us tonight. We appreciate you. But and you know what? I think I'm gonna wait until next week to say what 2025 has in store for He Said.
Okay.
I think I'll wait.
Okay.
But that means you all got to tune in.
That's right.
Next week
next
to
week.
see that what 2025 is going to do. So Bobby, did you enjoy the show tonight? Because
I
I
had a
enjoyed it with
blast.
you.
I really did enjoy it, and it is good for us to kind of share with our viewers how you and I kind of engage with one another when we're at our production meetings,
Mhm.
because we do have a lot of fun poking with one another as we look at some topics that we think will also be very helpful. So it was very pleasing to me to see the comments that suggested that you not only enjoyed it, but you found it helpful as well. So, and that's our goal, is to have some fun as we inform as well.
Thank you. And my key word is just be a resource, because we can get on here and talk about stuff that we hear a lot of, but we try to change the norm. And I appreciate that. I cannot do what I do without you. So I'm just going to go on right now and say Merry Christmas, Bobby Edwards, before
Thank
I
you, my
even
brother.
get to the end of the show.
Thank you. Same to
And
you.
before we say Merry Christmas to all of our viewers, I'm going to read our words of the week.
Yep.
The real luxuries in life: time, health, a quiet mind, slow mornings, ability to travel, rest without guilt, a good night's sleep, calm and boring days,
Yes.
meaningful conversation, home cooked meals, people you love, people who love you back.
The real luxuries in life. Indeed.
Those, I have to admit, they left out house music. I love me some house music. I love me some house music. House music,
All night long.
that is such a luxury for me. It can change my spirit. But at any rate, thank you, Bobby, for those words of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm going to say Sean Holmes, Mark Brown, Kendall Fisher,
Everybody, we love you
Glenn
guys.
Baker,
Thank you.
Michi, all of you, Michelle, Rodney from Philadelphia, our producer,
Right.
Norman. Thank you for showing up today, Norman. Dwayne from Chicago.
Everybody.
All of you all. All of
y'all.
y'all. Zach Bell, thank you for joining us. Charles Reese, all of you all for joining us tonight. Sean Nelson, we appreciate you so much for helping us do what we do every week on a Friday night. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to seeing you next week in our year in review show on the next episode of He Said.
He said.
He said. You all have a good evening and be safe out there, all right?
This is why I can't give gifts. It's pulls. It's stuff for the house.
I thought that was something else. I said, no, he didn't put that up there. Okay, but it's what?
It's a cabinet pull. See? It goes on a cabinet. What did you think it was?
I'm not saying it on air. I'll tell you after air. But
it's a pull. See? It's a pull.
Ladies and gentlemen, you all have a good evening. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.